Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to do a collective reading for the current energies and also moving up into the new moon. So last night I felt this huge shift in energy come in that kind of took me by surprise. It was like an abrupt change. I don't know if you're feeling that. So let's see today. There's a funny bird over there. Today is, God, what even day is today? Saturday, the 12th. Okay, so it's the last day of the Lions Gate portal. And then moving into that kind of like dark moon energy before the new moon. Okay, so it makes sense that there would be a big shift last night, like almost like a purge, it feels like to me, a purge as we move out of this and into something else. I'm really curious what the energy is going to show for this time and how it'll help me find words for what I've been feeling. Feeling a lot of intensity from like right before that full moon in Aquarius through the Lionsgate portal and now into the new moon in Leo. So again, that axis of how we shine our light, but in service to humanity. A lot being worked out with that right now. Venus in retrograde in Leo, a lot with the feminine coming up, the goddess energies, our divine spark, our access to our divinity and the expression of that in our unique ways. So that's kind of been the themes. The themes, a lot of also kind of moony energy. Like kind of oh gosh, yeah, of course, right? Know your worth. There's Venus retrograde. What are we doing? We're digging in. We're digging in to know okay, another one actually fell out with it. Love is all around. Okay, love is all around, so we're free to shine. We're free to be who we are. We're free to know our worth and to share it and to bring it out. So it's kind of the themes that we've been working on in this stretch. We're still in it, I feel, but there was just this huge shift last night, and I feel it was very much around this, this kind of energy. Even the colors are corresponding. I keep getting this card, maybe it'll come up today, but it's in my angel deck, and I just keep getting it. I hardly ever get that card, but it's beginnings, new beginnings, okay, which is also a theme that's coming up with the astrological readings I've been doing this cycle around, or these new beginnings, but it's the same colors. It's sort of this like ethereal birthing, like out of the void into like this like purpley pink. There's something about this color, this energy that represents to me like birth and fresh out of the void, coming forward, knowing our worth, and love is all around. So in this moment, it's kind of like an indicator of safety too, like it's safe. So let's see what else we get. Let's see if we get through the tarot to go with this. Okay, I think that's wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Six of Cups, Four of Wands, and the Hierophant. Oh, gosh. Okay. So what this energy is communicating to me, first of all, there's the longing. There's a lot of longing. I feel there's a lot of longing. It's just so interesting that these cards came up because this is what it feels like. A lot of longing in this energy, this new wave that came in last night, or that I felt last night. You might have felt it before, or maybe you'll feel it a little bit later, but I feel like, yeah, there's a wave of energy that has a longing. The longing is almost for something, like we might attach it to our past. There might be certain aspects of our past that holds this energy, this kind of energy of happiness, of union, of feeling good, of, just kind of being like everything's right in the world, okay? So it's kind of can be a longing of something that we're attaching to the past. But what I'm more feeling, because it's coming out with a Hierophant, is it's like we're longing for the wholeness. We're longing for our souls, basically. There's an energy of longing for the soul, and sure, we might attach that to a person or a time in our life or a memory or whatever. We felt particularly close with our soul, but what it is on deepest level is a longing for our soul. But what does that actually mean? A longing for our soul in this physical realm is a longing to express our soul, to have our physical life be an expression of this soul, of this higher. I read the Hierophant as the divine blueprint, the soul mission, the soul blueprint, like what we came here to do. So to be in union with that union card, be in union with our soul mission. It's like we're calling, there's a longing, but longing is so important because longing is what calls things forth, longing is what puts, because with longing, you can't get it off your mind, it just tugs at you, and you can be miserable in your longing. You can have, tears and confusion and feel lonely and feel, just kind of like isolated from your home planet, or however it translates to you, I want to go home. Where's home? I can't get home. I don't know where home is. And Of course we have our soul, our soul, we have that within us, and we can come into union with that. But it's like, I feel like this energy is really wanting to see this on the earth, see it in our lives, just really have our physical life, have our hologram express the wholeness of what we are, where love is all around, and even the colors, where it's like everything is an expression of the love that we are, that we know that we are, and really longing for our lives to reflect that. Okay, but also it comes up with this know your worth card, right? So it's like knowing that the ability and the inevitability and the birthright really to birth. Just looking at these colors here, like how she's kind of sitting, she's kind of sitting on this flower, and the bird is perched on this horn, which has like the, almost like the flower, the center of the flower type of imagery coming out of it, where it's like, what are we birthing? We're birthing ourselves, knowing that it's our birthright to birth ourselves. And what does it feel like when we birth ourselves? It feels like it feels like heaven on earth. But what is that? It's like when our hologram reflects the fullness of who we are, reflects our divine blueprint, however that's expressed through our physical vessel, through our unique soul expressed, having that around us. Okay, we're longing for this, we're longing to land this. Why are we longing for this? Because it's coming. Okay, this is the cutting edge energy. Wherever you're at in the trajectory, there is an energy of this right now, where we're longing for this, because we're meant to pull it through. We're meant to pull it through because this is coming for us. So maybe this is part of what happens on the other side of the Lionsgate portal, which is pretty much tomorrow, and then a few days leading into that new moon, and again the new beginnings. Okay, the card I keep getting, and these colors of like birthing out of that void, like this passage that we just went through, where I kept feeling in the other readings I did for the full moon and the Lionsgate, it was that there was this sort of like almost in some of the readings for the signs too, that there was this grace that was moving through. It was the grace of our higher selves, of our blueprint, kind of coming through. And why? Because it was time for this to kind of come through. But it was all sort of like this watery moony thing, where it was underneath, it was underneath. And we might have, even another theme that was coming up is that we even had kind of the awareness. We could feel this sort of like union energy. We could feel this heaven on earth energy underneath. But again, I'm going to pull more cards, because there's so many other things that I could say that it's fun to watch them come through the cards. But just sort of like a both energy, right? Like a stop and a start, like both polarities are there. So there's clarity and there's lack of clarity. But the point, being that there was a lot going on behind the scenes, underneath, a lot of kind of like activations coming up in some of the different readings, like the Cancer reading. Okay, so then here, these lights, kind of like things just like lighting up in our arc field that were a little bit beyond the linear mind, where we weren't necessarily tracking them. We might have been feeling them in an intuitive and energetic, visceral level, but it was kind of behind the scenes. Okay, so not a lot of clarity. So what's interesting is that the feeling that I'm getting is that we're longing for something. We're longing for something that we already have. We're longing for something that's already on its way. We're longing for something that's landing, but that's already here, in fact, but we don't quite know it yet. Why? Because we've been in this moony undercurrent type of energy with it, which I think was just the passage that we're at. I'm feeling like that's starting to shift, like things, well, mainly because this longing is coming up. And, and again, that reminder, it's kind of a paradox. It's like when you're longing for something and you want it the most, it means it's close. It's like you have the intuition to long for it, because intuitively you sense that it's here, and the longing helps pull it in. It creates that bridge. It creates that connection. So that's what I'm feeling. So, okay, let me pull more and see if it wants to say more, see if the cards want to illuminate more about this, express more about this. That is too many cards, but let's look and see what they are. 10 of Wands, King of Swords, 5 of Wands, Queen of Cups, and the World. Let's just take them. Because I was saying, let's see if it wants to say more, and then we get like this whole novel here. Okay, so the 10 of Wands, we're tired. Okay, we're kind of tired. We've been doing this journey, we've crossed a lot of like thresholds, but it's like we're coming down the mountain. Like we probably went up the mountain over here, and now we're coming down. We're coming down. Things are kind of starting to settle. we might even really be home. We're home, we have our suitcase, but we still have to walk that distance like to our actual home. Okay, so maybe that kind of represents that, like that longing. It's like we have kind of landed, we've come on the other side of that mountain, we're walking, but it's not quite yet. So yeah, but yeah, and then the king of swords, the king of swords, like we're tired, we're in that journey, but we're also, how it is when you get really tired, you're really tired, and all of a sudden your mind is just like wants to like find everything wrong with everything, and you can tell yourself like, honey, you're just tired, just go to bed, you'll feel better tomorrow. Just like ask for some guiding, supporting dreams, and just like don't you dare think, but just how these two can kind of go together. Like this kind of energy can kind of follow this energy when you're really tired and you just got done with the journey. It's not the time to sit down and try to figure shit out. It's just go to bed and wake up fresh, wake up in your new beginning. But so this kind of being, let me look at this guy a little bit, because this guy's really good at figuring things out. He's got his bat with him, he has his owl, he has his raven, he's really good at it. But again, it's kind of like a time and a place type of energy. That's just what I'm feeling with that. Yeah, why? And I didn't even look at this. Okay, the Five of Wands, because there's a little bit, that's when we can get into the conflict energy. Okay. So this is what I'm feeling about this time. We're tired. We're about to come into a new beginning, but we need to be careful with our minds right now, because the mind, if we get in this mind space when we're tired, okay, and it's not just like at the end of the day, it's like at the end of literally climbing a mountain, going through all these thresholds, coming down the mountain. I mean, in a sense, we just did I feel like a lot of us did a mini little trek through the Lion's Gate, through that full moon, and even before. For some of us, even before for some of us, but right, and so now we're kind of landing, okay, and it's almost like we were so engaged in whatever was in the moment and whatever was going on. It's almost like what was in the moment was sort of like distracting us so that we could have all that behind the scenes things happen. Like we were kind of taken offline in a sense, like maybe out of our routine. This was coming up before, okay, just like kind of tracking the journey. We were taken out of our routine in different ways. Maybe like for me, I'm not living in my normal house, and it's like I don't have my normal routine. I don't have my normal setting here or anything. It's like everything's been weird. So, it could be like change of something where you're in a different routine, or it could just be like something kind of came along, some situation where you had to change things up. Okay, so but anyway, the difference and the change, and not having your like regular grounding things and all that was the perfect setup to be in that moony kind of like place of reception, where those codes were lighting up, and where your higher aspects or guides or whatever you want to call them were kind of like doing this like like rearranging thing on you. You had to be just maybe distracted in the world or oriented differently in the world sense. So you also couldn't really like track what was going on. I feel like that all very much happened for a reason. Okay, so all these things that you were doing, and now we're kind of like landing, something's landing, okay, and yet now all of a sudden the mind wants to come on. Okay, what I was going to say is like, we were kind of distracted and caught up in whatever was going on in our physical lives, one, so that we could have that moony sort of behind the scenes things happen, we could be out of the way, but also we were caught up in this stuff so that, I mean, it's like saying the same thing from different angles. It's like it happened so that we could have those kind of downloads come in, but also because we were distracted, it made us so that we couldn't reflect on the download. So it came from like both sides, right? It came from both sides. So now that we're kind of landing, the mind wants to come in and figure stuff out. He wants to come in and figure stuff out. But then what's happening is there's like a bit of like a conflict. Like it's not time yet to figure things out. It's not time yet. And if you go into the mind at this point in the game, it's just going to create this kind of like conflict. Okay, so this is where the know your worth comes in, because but also, it's important to have this stuff come up. So maybe that's part of it too. It's like we can't help but go into the mind right now, which is perfect because it's bringing up this conflict. And what is that conflict bringing up? The conflict is bringing up this longing. And like I said, the longing is important because that's what's bringing in the truth of reality, which is the cutting edge of what's possible right now, which we want to land. So it's like, let's do this, So we have the love is all around and this unity card and the higher mission, the higher blueprint, this higher higher frequency energy, which is the truth of reality. Okay, we're longing for this. Why are we longing for this? Because we're going into our mind, which is connecting us with with the separation energy. Okay, so it's all kind of like part of the same movement, like every part, even though we can say like, well, don't go into your mind because it's not time yet. It's like on a certain level, yeah, that's true, but on another level, well, but we can't help it. So it has its part to play too, right? Everything is in service to the light. So then in going into this kind of like confliction stuff, then we can bump up again into some of those core wounds that maybe we haven't seen in a while because we were too busy like kind of handling this stuff in the physical world, if that applies, you know, or we just like weren't really in this energy at this time. But to come into this energy gets us to heal and gets us to come deeper into knowing our worth. Okay, so here's the Venusian energy, knowing your worth in Leo, you know, Venus and Leo, knowing your worth. You know, every time we go into our mind and we bump up against our wounds, you know, we can heal them and we can come more into this. And when we come more into this, which we also do through longing, because we're like, gosh, I miss the oneness. Gosh, I miss my soul. Gosh, you know, I miss this. I want this. I long for this. Perhaps this kind of energy in the world, you know, was so consuming that it took you a little bit away from this, you know, or you might have been a little bit away from your happy place, from your soul, from your quiet meditation, your quiet lifestyle, where you could, you know, connect and know this automatically because your lifestyle was so supportive of you, your routines, your whatever. Okay, but again, being shaken out of that, and shaking up some of this stuff, you know, creates the longing, which pulls in this. So again, everything pulls in this, partially by us having to confront this and come around to knowing our worth. Okay, so again, it's like all spokes of the wheel go to the center. And what is the center? The center is that love is all around. Love is all around, and everything is about love. Everything is about coming home. Everything is about coming into unity. Everything is about bringing these separated parts back into oneness and wholeness. Okay, so yeah, so every part of this bit that we've been going through is about this. And about this higher soul mission, this higher soul blueprint to land this. Okay, so honoring all the parts that came up with the what was it? I guess it was the Lionsgate. Was it the Lionsgate one? If you watched that, the radical acceptance, accepting every part, even this guy that just wants to get everything figured out, you know, spirals you into those darker places. Wonderful. Let's long for wholeness again, so that we find our worth, so that we can bring it home. Here we are bringing it home. We're tired. It's okay. We're bringing it home. So anyway, we have a couple more cards we haven't gotten to yet. The Queen of Cups. So there she is, and I love this card in this deck because there's the radical acceptance again. This came out with the radical acceptance. Which came out with the B actually, but anyway, so she's completely surrendered. She's just like, there's this bowl, and this bowl is important, but she's surrendered. She has her hands up. She doesn't even feel like she has to look at it. She doesn't have to look at it. She doesn't have to monitor it. She knows that everything is moving exactly as it needs to. Okay, so the tiredness, you know, the longing, the figuring it out, and the conflict, and then, you know, the remembrance, all of it, even though it's kind of contradictory in a way. It can feel a little bit fragmented. Like on the one hand, you know, we're feeling the unity. On the other hand, we're feeling our minds wanting to take over. On the other hand, we're feeling really freaking exhausted. You know, on the other hand, we're feeling a lot of whatever, you get the picture, right? We're feeling a lot of things at once, which can create a feeling of separation, but really it's, my daughter and I were talking about this morning, where it's like, it's a sign of sensitivity, and it's a sign of perception as well, energetic acuity, right? Where you can feel a lot of different things at once. You can hold the polarities in a sense of oneness, and that's really what surrender is. That's really what radical acceptance is. It's surrendering and allowing it all to be together in wholeness. So there's the wholeness. There's the world card that comes out next. Like, what is completion other than allowing everything to be there together inside that circle, knowing that it's all one, it's all whole, it's all love. love is all around. Everything is love, okay? And look, those are the same colors. The same colors, different decks, different artists, you know, that same green, that same, you know, yellow. So anyway, there was another point that I wanted to make. Oh yeah, the sensitivity. Okay, so being able to hold, being able to be present with the wounding that comes up, the extreme, like almost it can be like nihilistic when you really, really get down into those core wounds where like you can feel like I am so wrong that I don't even deserve to be here on this planet. You know, like it can go so deep where it's like the exact opposite of. The exact opposite, my son's on here, the exact opposite of this oneness and this everything is love. You know, you can feel like there's nothing, like there's no order to anything. Everything is random and everything's awful, right? Like it can get really bad if you really, really go into those core wounds, and yet to be able to sit with that, to just kind of sit with that energy and to hold it while at the same time having a part of you that's very much still connected to this light, you know, that can hold that higher frequency, that can reach it, that can hold on to it, while at the same time, maybe this is the one that's nihilistic and feels everything. He's the one that's laying on his back like a turtle, like you fell the whole way off the web they're trying to climb, you know, okay, and then there's another part of you that's just really quite tired. But anyway, but holding all these different angles, these different pieces together at the same time, in that wholeness, knowing that they're all serving the same purpose. Okay, there's the mastery and there's the completion. Okay, and I kind of feel like that's what this like little tour we did. You know, this tour we did around the wheel. It took us to everything. It took us to the deepest, darkest places. It took us to the grandest hopes and visions. It took us into, you know, this center of stillness. It took us into the void. It took us everywhere, and all of it being important. And look at how her dress is like, you know, it's kind of like well, from far away, it kind of looks like going up the chakras, right? Like going up the chakras, like hitting every part, hitting every energy center, activating all of them, getting every part hit so that nothing is missing. Because what is wholeness but all? Wholeness is all. It means everything. That means even the pieces that have been separated and cast out, they all need to be met and welcomed. And so I feel like we did a lot of that, of course, throughout our lives. But you know, through this portal, there was an invitation. If you found it and you grabbed it, to have that, and it's still there. It's still there. If you want to find it and grab it now, you know, if you're just feeling it now, then just grab it. That's it. You know, just radical acceptance for all of it. You know, we think wholeness has to look. We think wholeness has to look like how do I want to say this? It's like we think it has to look. We want to do everything through the linear, right? We want it to make sense. Here it is again, you know, we want it to make sense. We want it to be clear. We want it to just, you know, be like this. Like, look, it's a circle and she's standing and it's this and that. But really wholeness can actually look like this. And so this is what I was talking about. It's like you can have all these opposites, you know, together in one sphere, you know. So like inside this circle is all of this, and it doesn't actually always feel uniformed or clarified. It can just feel kind of messy. But we, you know, the invitation through this portal, these moons and this, and I kind of feel like through the end of the month too, like through into that next full moon. But we'll see. Yeah, just like surrendering to all of it, and then that's the portal into true wholeness. So it's not like the journey to wholeness feels whole. The journey to wholeness feels really messy. But when we surrender to all of that, then we start to come into that feeling, the actual feeling of congruency, right? We can't get the feeling of congruency until we embrace the mess, until we embrace the extreme feeling of separation. He kind of wants it to be like linear and feel good, but he's also the portal into feeling the separation. So anyway, I hope I'm making sense. Let's see here. So 24 minutes. All right, I'm going to pull an angel card and just do one word. I can't believe I talked for 24 minutes. I feel like I could just keep going. Like there's so much more that wants to come through, but I'll just do another reading later. Okay. Maybe I'll do one for the new moon too. I'll just have this be like a lead up to the new moon, you know, because I'm sure the energy will change again. Okay, we get mercy. Mercy. Wow. Mercy. Yeah, well, there's that radical acceptance again. You know, there's like, no matter what it is, you just love it. No matter what it is, just, you know, just have mercy, you know, have mercy for yourself, have mercy for the part of you that just wants to like tear things to shreds and just be really mad about everything. Like, that's okay. That's a part of it, you know. Again, like, just have mercy for every part, have mercy for everything, have mercy for the contradiction, you know, just accept it all. And that's what's going to get us through. That's what's going to bring us into wholeness, which I feel is the point right now in the invitation. The point in the invitation, here's the circle around her too. She has a circle around her as well. Around her, yeah. And she's also looking up. They're both looking up. She's looking up in sort of like a meditative, like, okay, I surrender. I get it. This is what's being asked of me. This is what's being asked of me. And she's like, I did it. You know, now I get to feel the activation through all of my energy centers. I get to feel that ecstatic energy because I have surrendered. Okay, surrender. So that's what I feel is the invitation right now as we move into this dark moon. As we move into this dark moon energy before the new birth, just surrender it all up and know that this we are completing something. We are coming into this completion. We can jump on board this train anytime we want. Why not do it now? You know, cutting edge energies, cutting edge invitation, surrender, jump, allow yourself to go through that portal so you can birth forward into these new moon energies. Okay, these new moon energies of union and higher. Hold on, let me find the union card. Union and higher purpose, higher mission, bringing our unique selves forward, knowing our worth. Right now, it's like that process of knowing our worth, feeling those deepest wounds, and claiming our worth. Well, after that comes the birth. Okay, so right now we're kind of in the dark moon phase. So, all right, I kind of just want to pull one more. I haven't pulled anything from this deck at all. I'm afraid it's going to go in a completely different direction, but I just want to I like to have a parting message. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, okay, good. That's kind of what I was looking for. The Empress, okay, just that reminder of like, this is our true power. This is us on the other side with everything that we need. This is in the feel-good life that I was talking about, like that longing. And this is what we're longing for. We're longing to just feel that nurturance, to feel at home in our bodies, to feel at home in our lives, to feel at home on this planet, you know, having everything that you need, the cat and the cake. Doesn't she have a cake here somewhere? I could have sworn she had a cake. But anyway, some berries, whatever, the light, the sun, everything, comfort, sensual, you know, Taurian energy on the planet, on the earth, in our bodies, here, feeling at home in our bodies with our spirit, you know, where it's not, again, it's not that fragmented energy where you're just trying to get through or trying to jump through other people's hoops. No, we want to live in this heightened energy that we're tuned into. We want to live in it. We see it, we feel it, we have connection to it, you know, we want to land it. So this being the trajectory of where we're going. So we're going to end there. And thank you so much for listening if you've made it this far. And yeah, I'm planning on, I just realized in this reading, I'm going to come back on for the new moon and see what comes up then. So take care. I'll see you next time if I do.